Hey students, this is lesson 7.1, ratios and proportion. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to write ratios and solve proportions, which is somewhat of a review, but we're going to use some triangle math to apply the ratio and proportions. Go ahead and do the review page here, and I'll check back with you. All right, here's the main property we're going to use, the cross products property. If you have a proportion where A will be equal to C over D, and B is not equal to 0, and D is not equal to 0, then the products of the extremes, which are the A and the D, equals the product of the means, B and C. So A times D equals B times C. And we would simplify that by writing this. Okay, you do need to know that these two are called the extremes, and these two are called the means. All right, go ahead and fill in the answers to 9 through 13, and you can check back. All right, writing ratio. A pygmy rattlesnake has an average length of 18 inches, while a western diamondback averages a length of 5'6". What is the ratio of the length of the pygmy rattlesnake to the length of the western diamondback? To do that, we should use a similar unit of measurement. So we're going to change 5 feet 6 inches into inches here. So 5, there's 12 inches in a foot, so that's 60 plus 6 is 66 inches. And now that we have similar measurement units, we can just simplify that. That equals 9/33, which simplifies to 3/11. All right, go ahead, you try that. All right, the measure of two complementary angles are in the ratio 1:3. What are the measures of the angles? So here we're going to solve a problem that uses a ratio. And what we're saying here is there's one part for one of the angles and 3 parts for the other angle. So the ratio is 1:3. So the measures of the angles are, we need the 2 angles to add up to 90. That's what complementary means. And we need one part to be the smaller angle, so we'll put 1 times x, and 3 parts to be the larger angle, so we'll put 3 times x, and that has to equal 90. So I get 4 times x is equal to 90, so x equals 90 divided by 4, which is 22.5. So one is 22.5, and the other one is 3 times that. And that equals 67.5. All right, you try that. I guess I can do one more with you here, and then you can go ahead and try the next problem. The lengths of the side of the triangle are in the extended ratio 2 to 4 to 5. So I'll just draw one. And I think this is the longest side, so that's gonna be 5 parts, and let's just say that x is one of these parts. So short side here can be 2 times x, this side can be 4 times x, and the long side can be 5 times x. And then the perimeter of the triangle is 77, and to get that, we're just going to add up the parts. And then I'll just simplify that. 2 plus 4 plus 5 is 11. Dividing both sides by 11, we get x equals 7. So the longest side is 5 of those parts, so 5 times 7 is 35. All right, you try that. All right, problem 4, solving a proportion. What is the solution of each proportion? So we're going to use the idea about cross products here. So we found that the product of the extremes is equal to the product of the means. So 3 times x is equal to 5 times 8, which is 40. And so I'm just going to divide each side by 3, and I get x equals 40 thirds. I think I'm going to leave my answer like that. If we want, we could write it as a decimal, but that should be good. And then in B here, we're going to take 6 times quantity y plus 3 has to equal 12 times 5. And that's 6y plus 18 using a distributive property equals 60. We'll subtract 18 from both sides and we get 6y equals 42. Dividing both sides by 6, we get y equals 7. So, and if we were to substitute that in to check it, that would be 10/12, which certainly simplifies to 5/6. All right, you try that. All right, problem 5, writing equivalent proportions. In the diagram, x over 10 equals y over 9. What ratio completes the equivalent proportion? X over y equals blank over blank. Use the properties of proportions to justify your answer. One of our properties of proportion says that if a over b equals c over d, then a over c equals b over d. And so basically we just need, the numerators are in proportion to the denominators also. So for this problem, we know that x over y is equal to 10 over 9. All right. And that's one of the properties of proportions. I think it's the, let's find which one that is. Property 1 there. Oh, sorry, that's not it. Property 2. All right, you try that. All right, that's it for this lesson. Go ahead and do the lesson check, and we'll talk about that next time we meet in class.